Good morning, ladies. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How is everything going out there in the world? We are studentloanjustice.org. We are the oldest, largest, first, and pretty much only true grassroots group fighting only and absolutely for student loan justice. Been around for 17 and a half years now, going on 18 years. Long time. We've done a lot of things. We've seen a lot of stuff. We've learned a lot of tricks. And so has our opposition. Our opposition has been practicing really hard, and it has really come out over the past month or so, 2-3 weeks since Biden announced his student loan cancellation. Let me just say, if you're watching us on Twitter or Facebook, I'm very happy to respond to your questions and comments if I can see them. Let me tell you guys, we're in new digs right now. We moved. We have new headquarters. Bandwidth is dicey. I'm actually doing this live stream on my cell phone because my supposedly awesome hotspot is shit. Thanks, AT&T. Anyways, forget all about all that. We're talking about profits. So our opposition, they're sitting there going, oh, it's going to cost, cancellation is going to cost the taxpayers this, cost the taxpayers that. That's nonsense. We're talking about profits. How silly is that, in the words of Allen Iverson? We're not talking about practice. We're talking about profits. You know, in 1965, when LBJ signed the Higher Education Act into law, he declared that the loans would be free of interest. Well, today, around $100 billion a year clicks off in interest alone on our backs. So make no mistake, this is not what the people in 1965 had envisioned when they created the student loan program. So the lending system has failed, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just say, if you're new to the group, welcome, by the way. We're a fiercely non-partisan group. This loan cancellation we saw from Biden was underwhelming, and quite frankly, it was tricky. It was straight up tricky, in my humble opinion. And I'll tell you why. We have watched the Department of Education trot out fake loan cancellation gimmick after fake loan cancellation gimmick again and again over many, many years. We're not falling for it again, guys. We are just not doing that again. Okay. The other groups on the internet are like, oh, yay, Joe Biden is going to cancel up to 10,000 or up to 20,000. It's nonsense, guys. This lending system is weaponized. And if you feel bad or demoralized about your own student loan situation, that's stupid. That's what the bad guys want you to think. This lending system is toast, and it's not your fault. These loans were weaponized against the citizens, and the founding fathers are looking down, wondering why we haven't burned our loan papers in Boston Harbor already. Hey guys, it's looking like I'm not going to be able to see your comments, unfortunately, tonight. So sorry about that. It is what it is. But here's the two most important things that you need to know. This whole student loan thing, the cancellation stuff is just hunky-dory. We're thrilled that a sitting president agreed to do what we called him to do years ago, which is cancel student loans by executive order. That all started with this group. I kid you not. Do a Google News search for cancel student loans and by executive order, and the very first article you will find written is a Vice News piece where they interview us and ask the very basic question: can the president cancel student loans by executive order? The answer is yes, by the way, and we've proven that. Maybe not so much with the current cancellation. Guys, the cancellation stuff is nonsense. This all comes down to a fundamental injustice with the lending system, and that is the stripping of fundamental, uniform bankruptcy rights from the loans. Nobody wants to file for bankruptcy, guys. I get that. Believe me. Believe me, I get that. That's not the point. We've got to have the threat of bankruptcy back on our side in order for this lending system to be even halfway fair. That still has to happen today. Like, even if you have only $10,000 in student loans, don't expect that you're going to get it, because the Department of Education has proven that they have no desire or intentions of actually canceling any loans. and they have a 99% disqualification rate on every other loan cancellation gimmick they've ever trotted out. So only when the threat of bankruptcy is staring them in the face can we expect any sort of even bare minimum of good faith in this loan system on the lending side, which is absolutely critical. We've got to have the threat of bankruptcy back. My belief, or my pretty strong conviction, is that very few people, maybe even nobody, will actually have to file. Just having the threat back will compel very meaningful, widespread loan cancellation, whether it's on an individual basis or whether it's en masse. Quite frankly, I think the best thing to do at this late stage in the death spiral of this failed lending program is to wipe them all clear, clear the slate, start fresh, and replace the lending system with something that works. That's my humble opinion. You may have your own. So, ladies and gentlemen, our battle is not over. If you're watching this, you probably already kind of have a feeling that this Biden thing, it's either not going to do anything for you, or you don't trust it, or something. So hopefully you know kind of what, at least viscerally, what I'm talking about. And I'm talking to the people who are new on the group, people who have been here for a while. You already know, you know what's up. So we got to get our bankruptcy rates back, guys. There's two ways that we are going to make that happen. The first way is the easiest way, and that is where the Department of Education is going to stop opposing student loan borrowers in bankruptcy court. We've been calling on this for years now, since like 2017 or 18. We're getting very close. We've got the Secretary of Education, the Undersecretary, the COO, all on record recently saying, yes, we're going to do this. Now, we don't know exactly what that's going to look like, but they say they're going to do this. So apparently the Department of Justice is holding things up right now. So for the past 2 weeks, we've been pushing on Attorney General Merrick Garland very hard to stop whatever he's doing and delaying this process. And thankfully, to our great credit, I'm happy to report that Senator Elizabeth Warren has joined us in calling on Attorney General Garland to stop putting a wrench in things and let this thing go forward right now. Why is the Justice Department even involved in the first place? I have to ask rhetorically. That's just stupid. So yeah, guys, I'm sorry that I can't see your questions tonight. You may get lucky and I may be able to see them on Twitter, but I don't think it's going to happen for us tonight, guys. I've got to get our bandwidth figured out, and that's my goal for this next week. So that first thing is getting the Department of Education to stop opposing student loan borrowers in bankruptcy court is very, very important. But there's a second thing, which is even more important, and that is getting Congress, and we hate Congress, both sides of the aisle, fiercely nonpartisan group. But Congress can do one good thing for us. They can't cancel loans. That'll never happen. Congress just will not cancel loans. It's pay-go rules prevent that from ever happening, pretty much. But yeah, no, the one thing that Congress can do for us, ladies and gentlemen, is pass a bill, I should say, called S-2598. It's a Senate bill that will return bankruptcy protections to federal student loans that are more than 10 years old. So federal student debt is more than 10 years old. This bill is in a perfect position, guys. I'm telling you, I know I've been saying it for months and months and months, and it seems like it hasn't moved. The Business Insider said the bill was languishing last week. That's not true. The bill is in fine shape. The bill could be passed tomorrow. Well, tomorrow's Labor Day, so maybe not tomorrow. But Congress comes off of their recess on Tuesday, guys, and that gives us 3.5 good weeks to get this bill passed before early voting begins in October. Now, it should be in both parties' interest to get this thing through, because at this point, I think both parties kind of want this issue off the table. They'd rather go back to their old tried and true, well-defined, battle lines clearly drawn wedge issues like, you name it, immigration, gun control, healthcare, taxes, whatever. All these other issues around which the partisan battle lines are clearly drawn. So Congress, and quite frankly, the Democrats owe us. The Democrats put in their party platform in 2016 and in 2020 that they would return bankruptcy to student loans. Well, now here we have the Democrats controlling Congress, both House and Senate and presidency. Well, it's time for them to make good on their word. If they think this loan cancellation is going to get people off of their couches to pull the lever for them in November, that might be kind of true for some of the younger people with lower debt, but for probably 70-75% of the people, this doesn't do much, and we are not impressed. So certainly it's not going to get me off the couch to vote for, Democrats. Now, if the Democrats pass S-2598, then yes, I will give the Democrats my humble, full-throated, gung-ho endorsement, because right now the Republicans fucking suck. Pardon my French. Well, there's some good Republicans out there, don't get me wrong, but the way this loan cancellation is being thrown around in the media, the Republicans are not doing themselves any favors. And I would urge you to go to a generic congressional party poll. So if you go to like 538, I think it's called .com or whatever, you can see the latest polls, and you can see that the Republicans are tanking over the past 2 to 3 weeks. And I think the student loan issue is a serious part of that, because here's the dirty little secret, guys. It's not a partisan issue. Half of all student loan borrowers are either Republican or independent. And, I will say in 2015, Donald Trump said many of the right things about student loans. He said, why is the government speaking of profits, we're talking about profits, guys. Why is the government profiting on student loans? Donald Trump said that, and he was right. He was like, of all the places the government shouldn't be profiting, it would be student loans. I mean, this is our kids' education at stake here. He said something like that. I paraphrase. So that's the final point I want to make tonight. I'm going to cut it short here tonight. Just stupid fucking bandwidth. All the bad guys right now, and watch us on Fox News, bit.ly/SLJ Fox News, all lowercase. You can see what actually is happening here. Our opposition is looking at future profits for the federal government, which doesn't make a profit on anything, anywhere, ever, by the way. But we're talking about profits for the federal government. These are the costs that the bad guys are talking about, guys. We're talking about profits. And make no mistake, and if you don't believe me, go to bit.ly/not losing money, all one word, lowercase. I just revised this article a little bit. But the numbers are clear, guys. All, not 10 or 20,000, all federally owned student loans could be canceled tomorrow. First of all, without needing a dime from the Treasury, without adding a penny to the national debt, but because of the obscene profitability of this lending system, certainly since 2010, frankly, even before that, but certainly since it was federalized by Obama, profits alone have made the government almost all of its money back, maybe even all of its money back. It's a little gray area, but right now, my best estimate is that all federally owned student loans could be canceled tomorrow, and the federal government would be losing maybe like $100 billion, maybe. But they have recouped most of their money, if not all of their money. So we're not talking about robbing the taxpayers to, pay for some blue-haired liberals' college. No, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about canceling an unconstitutional, catastrophically failed, and nationally threatening lending scam, much like we threw out $1 trillion in PPP loans. It's kind of like that, only it doesn't cost the taxpayers any money, because the taxpayers have already been repaid this money by normal people like Vanjie, who originally borrowed $26,000, who has repaid over $100,000 to date on a $26,000 loan and still owes $132,000. Like Chris in Wisconsin, where I am, originally borrowed $80,000, has paid off $200,000, still owes $235,000. Yeah, that's nonsense, ladies and gentlemen. That's silly. We're talking about profits. So don't forget that, guys. And when you see all the bad guys saying, oh, why should why should Joe Plumber pay for your whatever education? Say, hey, you tell Joe Plumber not to flatter himself. The government has made a king's ransom on this lending racket, this unconstitutional lending racket. And we, who are also taxpayers, the 42 million student loan borrowers out in the country, we don't have to take this shit, and we will not. And maybe I'll end the live stream tonight with a bit of maybe good news. I think comforting news. Come January 1st, guys, almost nobody's going to repay on their loans. Almost nobody's going to resume paying. My best working guess right now is that maybe 10-12% of the borrowers will actually resume paying. In other words, close to 90% of all student loan borrowers are not going to resume paying on their loans. Maybe 15 or 20% will initially, but after about 3 or 4 months, they're going to be like, oh, no. I remember why I couldn't do this. So, I mean, in my humble opinion, guys, nobody should ever pay again on their federal student loans. I think that's feeding a beast that should not be fed. You know, conservatives, libertarians like to say, you know, government should be small enough so that if you had to, you could take it to the bath and drown it in the tub. Well, I don't know about the rest of the federal government. I'm sure all the other federal agencies do a hunky-dory swell job. But the federal Department of Education's, certainly the federal student aid program, needs to be taken to the bath and drowned in the tub. Government agencies fail from time to time, guys. Let's not kid ourselves. This one is done. This lending system is toast. In my humble opinion, if you ever pay again on your federal student loans, it's not only probably unwise, it's unpatriotic. Don't do that. Not good for you. It's not good for the country. It does no good to feed this big government beast. So if you forget everything I say tonight, let me finish by saying simply, we need your help over the next 3 weeks. These are your loans that are on the chopping block here. Whether they stay, whether they go, what happens really kind of depends on whether we can get this bill passed S-2598 in the next 3 weeks. So I don't know, guys. At this point, I don't know. I'd say it's maybe a 50-50, but I know that this stuff does not happen in a vacuum is the number one thing that I know. I know that this group right here is thought leadership, not only for cancellation, but also for bankruptcy. And quite frankly, bankruptcy is way more important than cancellation. In fact, we are not going to see meaningful student loan cancellation from Biden or probably any other president unless and until we get the threat of bankruptcy back. So if you need something to do, the very minimum that you could do to fight this battle, which is your battle, is go to our website and do at least a week worth of our daily actions. You see it at the top, not hard to do. It takes you a minute a day. So I don't think that's too much to ask. We have got a bunch of people in this group who have been doing the hard work, and to all of you, I salute you. I would urge everybody out there to join your state chapter group and help get it going. I would also say that we can really be doing media right now. And if you can get your local news organizations, your local radio, television, newspaper stations to report on this problem and have them get a hold of us, we can get them interviews in your local area with normal people who are being absolutely devastated. So if you get a story going in your local area, we've got your back, and we're very happy to assist. Make that happen. This is a working, fighting group, guys. We're not like the bullshit groups that sit there and blow smoke up your ass. We need your help, and that's just God's honest truth is that we will get screwed unless and until you help us fight. You're not better than us. So take heart, guys. We've never been closer. The next 3 weeks are just absolutely critical. Do our daily actions. Also, if you could donate at this time, please do it. I think the link is down there. I can't see, but it's studentloanjustice.org/donate. We need something like, I think 90 people to donate $10 or the equivalent this coming week. Our backs are kind of against the wall here, guys. We can survive and fight this battle on almost nothing. In fact, vanishingly insignificant nothing compared to what our opposition spends against us, obviously. We don't need a ton of money, but we can't do it on nothing either. Like, we can't just make all this stuff go on just hoping goodwill alone. So please donate if you can, and so I can shut up about it because I hate fundraising. But I've never been more enthused and encouraged, and I hope you guys are stoked. We're getting so much done. Like just this look at the Warren thing last week was super big deal. We're on a good roll, guys, and I will check the comments after this live stream and respond to them then. Do the daily action, donate, join your state chapter. I think those are the 3 things I said to do tonight, right? Do more than that. There's a special project on the main page of our website that you can help with. Oh, and get a news organization to report on S2598. Anyways, that's it. Stay tuned, guys. We're going to need your help every single day for the next 3 to 4 weeks. First week in October. And remember, guys, if we don't get this bill passed by the end of the year, that's it. That's it for us. We're fucked. Pardon my French. I don't want to be that guy, and I hope that you don't either. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully a better live stream coming your way on Wednesday, or probably Friday is more realistic. But I will see you on. I will see you tomorrow, actually, and we'll take it from there. So have a good night. Let's make this the best week ever for student loan justice. Good luck. Godspeed. God bless everyone.